Special shout out to Raymond Tuan. Thank you for the cigars. Enjoying them right now. It is Monday, the 11th, the day after daylight savings. March 11th, anyway. Yeah, we are at a rest stop near Tracy. So it's like 580 and 5 freeway where they intersect, right? So this is a panoramic here. But look at that. I want to show you something. When was the last time you saw those payphones? I mean, I see the odd one once in a while, but to actually have 3 payphones next to each other like that is a rarity, right? Anyway. Yeah, so I'm by the 580 and the 5 freeway in Northern California. And I was pretty much forced to shut down for the day because they set up a 5:30 a.m. appointment in a facility. I think it's called, the town is called Benicia, California. Anyway, there's not much around there in terms of where I could stop the truck and do my 10-hour reset. So I had to stop pretty much 70 miles away. So I'm shutting down, or I did shut down before 6 p.m. in the evening, which is really early. And I usually drive for at least a couple more hours. But yeah, so I'm getting a call. What's going on, my people? So this week I'm going to talk about some of the things that you need to be aware of before you actually start driving. When you look in your job description, they'll have things like no-touch freight, live loads, live unloads. They'll have stuff like drop and hook, detention pay or on-duty pay. They'll have things like shipment pay or basically payment per delivery. Let's go with the first one, the no-touch freight. Let's say no-touch freight. When it says 100% no-touch freight, it means that you're not supposed to unload any freight. You're not supposed to load any freight. You don't touch any of the cargo that's going inside the trailers. So that's no-touch freight. Now, sometimes people get confused with drop and hook versus no-touch freight because they could say 100% no-touch freight, but that doesn't mean it's a 100% drop and hook. Drop and hooks are fast because like relay deliveries or deliveries that you take basically will involve one empty trailer and also one loaded trailer usually. Sometimes you'll have a variation, but it'll most likely be 2 loaded or 1 empty and loaded. So what happens is you'll take, like if you go to a shipper, you'll take an empty trailer, drop it off there, and they'll tell you, oh, you park it here or in this area or in spot number 130 or something like that. They'll give you a spot number or a parking slot number, or they'll tell you put it in this general location where you find an empty space, right? So you'll take that trailer and then you will park it, detach from it, and then they usually tell you ahead of time where to pick up the loaded trailer. So then you'll go and then you'll connect to the loaded trailer and then go on your way to deliver that. So that's basically a drop and hook. So you drop off one trailer and hook up another trailer and take it. Sometimes you'll drop a loaded trailer and then pick up another loaded trailer, so those are drop and hooks. And basically, yeah, they're all no-touch freight because they're drop and hook. You don't have to unload anything. You don't have to load anything. It's just you disconnect the trailer and then connect the trailer and then you go. Now, no-touch freight versus when you actually have to unload the trailers. No-touch freight is basically meaning that you don't touch anything, So, but there's accounts, usually dedicated accounts, where you go somewhere and you start unloading parts of that trailer. They'll have several BOLs, bill of ladings, and or different purchase orders and papers that you have to make sure that coincide with your delivery, your order. So you look at what's in your truck and you remove the contents of that truck yourself. You either using a dolly or a pallet jack. A lot of pallet jacks are electronic these days, but yeah, pallet jack or a dolly. And then so you'll go ahead and deliver it, whether it's to a store or to a warehouse. And they're usually less than truckload, which is LTL. So LTL loads that you'll be taking out of the trailer and then putting into the warehouse or the location that you get to, the receiving area, right? Sometimes you have to take it in all the way into a store. and deliver it that way, depending on what account it is and what they expect from you as a driver. And so that's touch freight versus no touch freight, right? So a lot of times people get confused. They sign up and they think it's they read 100% no touch freight, and they're automatically assuming it's 100% drop-in hooks. But no, it's not like that. You have to make sure you figure out how much of a percentage of your loads are drop-in hooks and how much are no touch freight. So for the most part, dry van versus reefer. Like dry van is you don't have a refrigerator unit or a freezer unit as a trailer, so that you've got perishable goods or things that need to be kept at a certain temperature in your trailer. So dry van is you don't have any temperature control. It's just your trailer without any temperature control. You've got live unload and live loads. Those are when you get to a receiver or a shipper, you back up. Usually when you back up, you have to slide your tandems all the way back, and you put the wheels at the back of the trailer. So it's not dangerous for the forklift drivers when they go in and out, because when the weight fluctuates on that trailer and the wheels are forward, that trailer has a tendency to bounce, and it could cause problems. Some places, they don't care, but most places, they require you, for safety reasons, they require you to slide your tandems all the way back. Sliding your tandems means putting your rear tires that are attached to the trailer. You have the ability to pull this lever, and you can move the wheels forward or backwards. Now, live loads and live unloads can take a lot of time, depending on who the shipper or receivers are. There are places that are very quick, and they will get you in and out like in 30 minutes, 20 minutes sometimes, sometimes less than an hour. But if you go less than an hour, that's pretty good, because some places, I kid you not, you could waste half a day there. For one reason or another, they take their sweet time. Some places will start to unload you and stop, and then start to unload you and stop. Sometimes they go on their break. Sometimes they start unloading, and the warehouse manager will instruct the forklift driver, hey, you need to concentrate on this load. We need this load first. And then, you got unloaded for a little bit, and then all of a sudden nothing's happening. Usually if you have more than 2 hours of time that you're waiting, you're supposed to get this thing called a detention slip. So you get a little slip saying that, hey, I waited longer than 2 hours here, and they're supposed to sign off on it. Some places you go to, for whatever reason, the warehouse workers aren't as motivated, whether they're not happy with their job or whether management just wants people to work at a slower pace, or I don't know what's going on. But I've had times where people don't seem very friendly. They don't seem very helpful, or they could care less how long you wait, and there are times when it's almost like there's not that much work, so they take their sweet time with that because they need to be working and get paid, right? So I don't know. There's a lot of reasons why people slow down or work slow at warehouses, and I don't know how long they'll last with that business model. I'm sure it'll hit their profit margins in a big way. Another thing too is that I know that when us as drivers we miss appointments, a lot of places will be upset, because they're expecting their goods to be there by a certain time. I think there's a chargeback they'll do to the carrier. So the people that are supposed to be at a certain time with the load, if they don't show up, then they get upset, and then they charge the company, from what I understand. Anyway, so those are some of the things that I think you need to be aware of before you actually start driving, because it can be a little bit confusing when you start, and there's a lot of things going on in this industry that I still don't know, that I have to get more familiar with. But this is what I know now, and I've been on the other side when I used to do a lot of operations in some of the companies I worked for. We had loading docks with warehouse workers, and our business model was different because we try to keep everybody motivated. We try to keep everybody working fast, safely but fast and efficient. So we're done with the unloading or loading quickly. And, for us, it all translated to more business and more dollars and happy customers, happy truck drivers too, and with a level of dignity and respect that, that you want to give to people that you work with. And at the same time, hopefully you get that back, right? But some places you go, they don't have that business model. That's not important for them. For them, it's just another day of grinding it out at the warehouse, right? And, unfortunately, a lot of America's like that, and there are places I go to where the people are super friendly and super nice, and they take good care of you. And, so it's not all one way or the other, but you just get a mixed bag of both, right? Good places and bad places. And so you have to be ready for that. I try to be, even though I'm on the receiving end of a lot of BS sometimes, I try to be cordial. I try to make their day brighter as much as possible because, sometimes people are just having a bad day, and you don't want to add to that. You don't want to be confrontational or get in their face. I think when I was younger, I would have probably gotten more confrontational, but at my age, it's just like, hey, you know what? Let's make this a good day. If you're having a bad day, I'm sorry, just hopefully things could get better. Anyway, so this week was a weird week. So what I try to do to get my miles in, I try to get from point A to point B and then start off another load coming back to point A, so I can get more miles in. Because if I just do, like let's take for example Phoenix. If I go from San Bernardino or Fontana to Phoenix back and forth, but I'm doing one trip a day, I do basically one run to Phoenix on Monday, 350 miles. And then I come back on Tuesday, 350 miles. And then I go back on Wednesday, 350 miles. And then I come back on Thursday, 350 miles. That ends up being basically about 1,400 miles, right? And it's not that many miles. So what I try to do is I try to get loads assigned to me quicker, So even if I go to Phoenix, I try to unload that load. Usually they're live unloads. And I try to see, like, if the appointment time is at like 5 p.m. or something like that, or 3 p.m., and I got there at like 1 p.m., I call them up and I say, hey, can you take this load early? And if it's like really late, like the next day, like morning, like I had one at 5 a.m. the next day, and I got to Phoenix like 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock, something like that. And then I have to basically shut down and wait, I don't know, 16 hours until the appointment, right? And it's crazy. That's a lot of time that I could be driving. So at that point, I request that load become a relay, but sometimes they can't accommodate that, and I have to go in anyway in the morning and do that. And so I'll lose a big chunk of time. And those are situations where you could be driving back and making more money. But, in this industry, you get that. It's not a perfect situation every single time. So I understand that. So, and you have to be ready for that, right? So this week had a lot of one way and stops. And I didn't do too many turnaround trips right away. And so I ended up with a lot less mileage than I did the last 2 weeks. The last 2 weeks I did 2,200 plus and then 2,200 again. And this week I think I ended at about 1,800. And it was a week where I felt like it started off and I felt like, hey, I could get to maybe 2,500 this week, but it tapered off really fast. And so I guess in a perfect world, you would get all the loads and times that you want. But, in reality, you are working with schedules that are that won't necessarily fit perfectly into your driving schedule. So anyway, that's pretty much what happened, and it was a good week still. I had to drive up to Northern California, which I haven't had in a while, and then the rest of it was back and forth to Phoenix. So all in all, it was a good week, and I just wanted to keep you updated on what's going on. After going up and down, the I-5 and going back and forth on the I-10, you start noticing which areas that you want to stop in, And the thing is the rest stops are really quick and fast. When you stop at a rest stop, it's very fast. When you stop at a truck stop, it takes a lot longer. Whether you're fueling, whether you're putting diesel in, or whether you're parking, everything just takes longer. And, you can expect like 20 minutes to an hour if you have to like park your truck, get out and take care of things. Anyway, that's what I have for you this week. I wanted to share with you some of the things that I wish I had known before I signed up, because those terms can be a little bit confusing. But so have a good week. Thank you for all your support. Peace. And I will catch you guys next time. Bye.